I dedicate my life to make people smile. I decided to be a doctor to reduce people's suffering.
Cameroon, located in the central part of Africa, has a wealth of natural resources and good agricultural conditions in many regions. But as is in other parts of Africa, poverty is also widespread. In a country where there are fewer than 2 doctors for every 10,000 people, the Cameroonian health system struggles to offer a high level of health care. All this is, however, not lost on some medical professionals like Dr. George Boile, who have made it their life mission to help others. It's Friday 4 a.m. in Yaoundé, the capital of Cameroon. Dr. George Boile and his team of volunteers are preparing to go on their weekly medical campaign to a village in the interior of Cameroon. Every weekend, this doctor and his team go out and give free medical care to people in villages far away. As always, the first stop in their journey is the gas station where they fuel up.
I was born in not a rich family, but my parents did all their best for me to be what I am today. And my father was ill for 23 years. There were not a lot of specialists taking care of him. And when we went to the hospital, I was going with him. There were a lot of patients waiting for the doctor. And this man always says to me that you see how people suffer to see a specialist doctor. Please, tomorrow when you are going to be a doctor, take care of those people who don't have means to see a specialist. The big bus and 4 trucks. So it's so expensive to fold them. And we need to rent another car for us because we're still in Yaoundé. We need a new car. It's very expensive, but we need to do that.
George's medical journey began at the Yaoundé Teaching Hospital, where he enrolled as a medical student in 1990. He graduated in 1995 and, being a top student, was quickly awarded a scholarship to specialize in visceral surgery in Belgium. Visceral surgery is a specialized branch of general surgery. It focuses on the internal organs of the body. But it was while he was in medical school that his father's words resonated with him, and that was the birth of Ascovim, an organization that focuses on bettering the lives of people. Ascovim is a French abbreviation meaning skills for a better life.
The idea about Ascovim is going to the fact that when now my father explained to me, and myself I realized that it's not easy to see a specialist doctor. I said, okay, if I grow and I'm a doctor, I'll be taking one part of my time for those people who don't have needs. And when I was a medical student, fifth year, we try something like that. I did that with a friend till 2008. It's in 2008 that we decide to put a name on this action. And the name was ASCOVIM, a group to fight for a better life.
Of course, ASCOVIM has grown since those years in medical school.
I know Dr. George Boyle. I know Dr. George Boyle is now more than 20 years. And we did medical course together. ASCOVIM was a small structure. And now, because I'm beside him every day, ASCOVIM has taken, a big statue. So, as for example, he has been traveling, he's traveled since January, he traveled around 4 or 5 times to go abroad for the seminar and something about ASCOVIM. So I'm afraid of some things that will be able to manage that big structure.
The doctor's journey continues, and from Yaoundé it takes nearly 7 hours to arrive in Njitam, a remote village in the southern region of Cameroon. The convoy of 4 pickup trucks and a minibus transporting ASCOVIM personnel and supplies makes its way speedily across town. At Bafia, a small town 2.5 hours from Yaoundé, the doctor's crew stops for a quick roadside breakfast. Jean Zambo is an integral part of George's team. He is the director of ASEP, a microfinance company with head offices in Yaoundé. He is an ASCOVIM patron, therefore he provides additional reliable transportation for weekend trips in the form of 4 pickup trucks for use.
ASCOVIM, le lien entre ASEP et ASCOVIM, c'est moi. C'est moi, j'ai rencontré Georges dans une campagne et ce qu'il faisait m'a ébloui. Et par mon ricochet, j'ai demandé à ma structure de voir comment on peut de temps en temps aider ASCOVIM pour des œuvres sociales qu'elle élabore dans le triangle national.
Despite his busy schedule, Jean always makes time to go on ASCOVIM missions every weekend. After breakfast, the team continues with their journey. Along the way, the road ends and they face a river with no bridge to cross to the other side.
Now is the time to transfer the team by ferry. So we are going to put all the car on the ferry and then cross the river. This is the river name. The name of the river is Mbam. We cross the river and then we continue the trip.
As the vehicles carefully make their way off and onto the maneuvered ferry, the foreign volunteers look on and take their turns jumping on the ferry.
I first heard about ASCOVIM through second-year students, rising third-year students at home who came here last year, and they spoke about their incredible experience here, and that really drew me in. Dr. George Boyle's message and his mission to bring healthcare and education to all of Cameroon is just so inspiring, and that really drew me here.
Let's go! Let's go!
Njitam is a small, mostly Muslim community on the edge of the tropical rainforest. Ascovim has been coming here since 2008 when Eastern Yafaga, a native of this village living in the US, got in touch with George.
I heard George Bole's name for the first time in Washington, D.C. I was visiting friends and they introduced me to somebody who was coming back from Cameroon. He connected me with George, so I emailed George, and George sent me the PDF of his work. And I have been an artist since I was 7 years old. So I was about 40 years old. When I saw George's works, I just wanted to give up being an artist and become a doctor.
As soon as they arrive in Jitam, the doctor's first order of business is to set up camp and get themselves ready to serve the villagers. One of the first places that gets set up is the pharmacy. The volunteers, including Caitlin, all begin to help. This gets done under the watchful eye of Takwilinda.
This is the pharmacy, our makeshift pharmacy for this in Jitam village. This is where we do packaging of all the drugs to make work lighter for us once the patients start coming in. So here is where we do the packaging. We have people writing, like you see, how the start doing here. We have people writing the posology. That's how the drugs are going to be taken. When you see one dot here, to make it easier for, especially for those who haven't been to school in the rural area, and not everybody understands when you write 1 and 2. So when you write 1 dot here, we understand that it's 1 tablet per day.
Anesthetist nurse Takwilinda has been a big part of Ascovim since meeting George in 2009. She was an intern at the Yaoundé Central Hospital, where George now works as a full-time visceral surgeon.
I met Dr. George Boele in 2009 when I was doing my master's in anesthesia. So we used to carry out our professional stage at L'Hôpital Central. So as an anesthetist and he being a surgeon, we worked a lot together in the theater. So that's where I got to know him. Anyway, I played several roles in Ascovim. One, I'm the anesthetist. Secondly, I coordinate the volunteers. And during our health campaigns, I manage the pharmacy.
Back in the village, apart from the pharmacy, the consultation room also gets set up.
Now we set up the consultation room. As you see, we don't have the hospital, but we are trying to arrange a place where we can receive, the doctor can receive a patient. We have internal medicine, we have pediatric, we have gyne, we have surgery, we have ophthalmologists. Ici, à la fenêtre, ici, c'est la pharmacie. Hein? Ici, c'est la salle de consultation. OK? Bon, tout ça, c'est à la grâce de Dieu. Hein? À bientôt. Rejoignez vos rangs et on vient vous chercher.
All this work keeps him away from family, but they understand him.
I don't really know him because I didn't spend more time with him. He had always been busy from his work by Ascovim, so my sister and I would just see him occasionally, but we support him in what he's doing. We love him, even though we miss him a bit.
During the week, Dr. George Boele is a very busy man.
Hello? Hello?
He works full-time at the Yaoundé Central Hospital during weekdays, consulting and performing surgeries.
Non, l'anesthésiste vous a pas fait fort, l'anesthésiste vous a dit qu'il ne faut pas lever la tête. Monsieur, ça va? D'accord.
In order to supplement his income, which he plows back into Ascovim, he also performs private surgeries and teaches at a medical school.
He's not just someone who sees medicine as something which concerns school. He has that passion, that concern for those who are around him, and that's what makes me actually admire him. So it's an inspiration for me to know that medicine is not only something that concerns school, but you should also have that will to help those who are around you.
The most important thing is the idea. It's not to have money. I decided to put my own money to that. So I started with my small money, own money, running. And some of people were interested. And they said, okay, I want to go with you. What you are doing is so good. I can provide my car. If you fuel the car, we go together. I said, yes. And then we pass. Somebody provide the car and provide the fuel. And then somebody else. That's how we started.
Now it is down to business. Their mission: to carry out consultations, write prescriptions, provide drugs, identify cases for surgeries, and ultimately perform the operations throughout the night, as their time in every village is limited. As daylight runs out, a generator provides electricity for George and his colleagues to begin special consultations underneath the hut, looking out specifically for surgery cases.
So we're trying to do this as quick as possible because this is a rural village. We don't have a power or electricity, so we're running out of daylight. So we're very stressed out here to do consultation faster as possible. So because we don't have electricity, so that's the main issue.
I received this girl, I think it was in 2010. She was, I think, 3 years old. 2009 maybe. She was 3 years old, and she was she was burning after a seizure crisis. Seizure is what we call epilepsy, right? So she was having that seizure crisis, and she was burned. And she was burned on the thorax. So you can see that in the thorax is burning. And what is dangerous here is that she burned the mammal glands. So she don't have the breast gland. So she cannot feed the baby tomorrow, right? And the neck was impossible to move. So we tried to reduce this. So now she can move the neck. And the hands too. This hand was blocked like this when we saw her. So now it's easy for her to move. But a lot of things remain. If they can take care of her, if they can take care of her in the specialized hospital of burning patients, it could be great. Because now in Cameroon we cannot do more for her.
As darkness engulfs the village, just like her colleagues, Linda is busy at the pharmacy dispensing the much-needed drugs to the villagers.
Donne donc à ton convalescent. Ça, c'est le paracétamol, c'est pour les douleurs. Ici, c'est les vitamines. Tu prends un par jour. Quinine. Ça, c'est le paracétamol.
An hour later, George and his colleagues have finally identified and marked down 26 candidates for various surgeries. Surgeries are a top priority for Ascovim during these missions. The simple reason, these are people who cannot afford to travel to the cities, let alone pay for expensive operations. While George has the luxury of a proper operating room, modern equipment, and decent lighting at the Yaoundé Central Hospital, here in Njitam, tonight, there is none of these at his disposal. On each of the 4 operating tables in this operating room, a doctor and supporting staff are busy over a patient. As soon as they are done with one, the table is quickly cleared and prepared for the next. Being an anesthetist, Linda is hawk-eyed over a patient.
On this lady now, she's a young girl of 25-year-old, present with a mass in the uterus. That mass is a fibroma. So it's fibroid in uterus. The main complaint is that she cannot have a baby since more than 5 or 6 years. So she suffer for infertility. So we are going to try to remove this fibroid in uterus, who cannot allow her to have a baby. Normally, the fibroids are so common in black women, right? Normally, to black women, to African women, we have a lot of fibroid in uterus. So this is a common surgery. But in the village, sometimes people don't go to the hospital because of poverty, and those fibroids can grow. Huh?
Ballot nga, ballot, bad luck. Hey.
C'est habituel, c'est un peu le patois. Si jamais il y a besoin que ça t'énerve tellement. Tous les tchaka 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 tchaka. Passe la tête là-bas, pardon. So we just finished this surgery where we remove, I think, 4 big fibroids in the uterus of these 25 old ladies. Time 3:30.
As night slowly turns into day, George steps out of the makeshift OR.
I just went to see the quantity of fuel the generator need, because we're supposed to continue. We still have something around 6 cases, 6 or 7, all right. We already done, I think, 18 or 19. And you know, at the beginning we were not having the generator. We were doing surgery with the petroleum lamp. Without this generator, there is no surgery. So we thank the generator to running till the morning, and to help us continue those surgeries. They are calling me for another surgery. These kids present with syndactyly. The kids have a congenital fingers joint. So we try to separate them, but normally it's just because we are in the village. Normally before separate, we should do an echography to find other malformation, other congenital malformation. But what we can do now is first to separate the fingers, to release them, and to taking care that those fingers be normal.
This Saturday morning, the team has packed up and is getting ready to return to Yaoundé. Mission complete. But there is one last gathering at the chief's home for a special little girl.
This little girl was born 1 year after Ascovim came here, so we call her Ascovim. So each time she's here, we celebrate the birthday. Okay.
Betty Ascovim Bwele Rafiat.
Okay. So the village said that when she will get married, George will be in charge.
Yes.
To give her to, like her father, giving her to somebody.
When you look at her, she looks like the life, right? So this is what Ascovim means. Ascovim means life. So I'm so happy to notice that this girl is grown, and one day I'm going to be the best father.
Schools are now closed, but after every medical campaign, Ascovim also provides educational material to the children of the villages they visit. Ascovim believes that the key to a better future is a better education.
For the future, for a better future. So that's why when Ascovim going to the village, we plan to give to the kids of that village, kids of the primary school, we provide to them school supplies. Running every day, every weekend in one bush, one village to do humanitarian work, it's good. But there are other people all over the world who notice that this is a good job, and those people offer to me a lot of prize. You have my Cameroonian award I received. It was a big pleasure for me in 2013 to be one of the top 10 CNN heroes. The visibility this prize gave to me was on top of all the things was in my mind.
I didn't know I loved to help people until I met someone who gave everything to help people. He is an inspiration for me because when I met him and heard about what he does for the poor, I was very inspired.
George's other target at the moment is the completion of a headquarters that has modern conveniences.
It's the land I bought, and this land is 2 hectares, it's big, and the plan is to have my own house. This is my own house, my own personal house. This is the house where we can have something like 37 beds for all the volunteers who are coming, you see. So you can come here in Cameroon with your family and you can stay here. You don't need to pay hotels.
As Dr. George Boyle looks forward to a new week at the Central Hospital, one thing is on his mind. Next weekend and the next health campaign trip to help another group of suffering Cameroonians. He is truly a doctor on a mission.